Many in Washington were surprised by Congress' failure to approve continued vital support for Ukraine last weekend. But for far-right MAGA lawmakers who fought to stop the aid, it was culmination of months of hard work. Now Ukraine's backers face a steep uphill climb to restore funding. If they fail, the result will be more Ukrainians killed and a longer, more costly war. As the competition to replace Kevin McCarthy as House Speaker heats up, support for Ukraine has become politicized. McCarthy's departure made it extremely difficult, perhaps impossible, for any new aid to Ukraine to pass the House. On Tuesday, Speaker candidate Jim Jordan told reporters that he would not bring Ukraine financing to the House floor if he took the gavel. His main rival, Steve Scalise, is said to be less willing to finance Ukraine's fight. Republicans who still support Ukraine are sounding the alarm. Ukrainians are fighting not just for survival, but for the freedom and security of Europe and the world's democracies. It is in our national security interest to provide support for them and is not something that should be a wedge issue or a political football. Rep. Joe Wilson told me, if war criminal Putin takes over Ukraine, it will be much worse than the consequences of the failed withdrawal from Afghanistan. These arguments are very logical. The cost of helping Ukraine fight Russia's brutal occupation accounts for less than 5% of the U.S. defense budget. Most of this money is going back to U.S. companies to replenish old weapons stocks that already sit idle. The weakening of the Russian army makes Europe safer, and China is watching to see whether the West has the stomach to defend democracies against aggression. The problem is that none of these arguments matter to far-right Republicans, who see it as good policy to oppose Ukraine aid. Rep. Pat Ryan, a member of House Armed Services Committee, told me that the House GOP leadership has all but supported MAGA movement's retreat from defending democracy. The genesis all of this goes back to the beginning the MAGA movement, he said. Trump introduced this virus of MAGA isolationism into the Republican caucus and it spread. Part of the problem is that those who support Ukrainian aid are overconfident. Despite public warnings from some Republican lawmakers that support within GOP caucus is weakening, Biden administration had expected Congress include billions of dollars in aid to Ukraine as part of latest bill keep government running. Worse, everyone was underestimating the MAGA members' ability to maneuver. Many assumed the Republican leadership was under control of far-right members like Rep. Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene. In fact, GOP leadership was quietly working with hardliners to separate the aid from other spending bills. McCarthy's decision last Saturday removed $6.1 billion in aid to Ukraine from the interim government funding bill was intended to appease hardliners. 3 days later, he was